Western Spain television. Ours it is.
The Ministry of Women Affairs, Children and Social Welfare is pivotal on three major policy objectives: social empowerment, indigent citizens, education, and protection against abuse. The three major policy objectives are built around women advancement, girl and boy child education, and protection of young vulnerable children against abuse. Within 2 years, the ministry has experienced significant turnaround as a result of government pragmatic effort to harmonize the programs aligned with relevant public agencies at local, state, and national levels, consolidate the gains arising from such collaborations, and presenting a program of action to attract international interventions. Investigations by Living Spring Update revealed that the decision by Governor Adeleke to create a distinct identity for the ministry has gone a long way in placing its activities along the broad outlines of execution for the attainment of the ministry overall mandate. What is the story so far? This will be told on Living Spring Update episode 18. My name is Tomilola Daniel Giranko.
The Ministry of Women Affairs, Children and Social Welfare is a strong tool for the advancement of the women population, which generally suffer various challenges and limitations that arise from poverty, illiteracy, family welfare, children upbringing, cultural encumbrances, and marginalization, among others. The administration of Governor Adeleke, on coming on board, identified these challenges and the pivotal roles of women in achieving social equilibrium and conducive family life required for peace, stability, and health of the citizens. Government instantly took steps to ensure that the ministry operates in such ways that its key performance indicators are marshaled to empower the vulnerable women population, render effective social development services through various family support and advancement activities. The ministry was mandated to adopt a bottom-top approach in implementing its programs. This is why the ministry is carrying out its mandate from the local government, flanked out at senatorial and federal constituency levels. The aim is to make the ministry programs broad-based and impactful by targeting beneficiaries at all levels of government. These, according to the State Commissioner for Women Affairs, Children and Social Welfare, Chief Mrs. Ayola Fadeyi Awolowo, is to enable the ministry to be strong in deploying its resources to the target areas without leaving gaps, ensure effective monitoring and execution for optimal results.
Under the visionary leadership of the Executive Governor of Osun State, His Excellency Senator Ademola Jackson Adeleke, the ministry have been able to make remarkable strides in addressing gender-related issues, empowering women and protecting children. We are advancing policies and programs that create a safer and more inclusive society for all. His Excellency has been trying a lot for the women in Osun. We had, when I assumed duty as a commissioner here, we had women empowerment in federal local government, Ayedire local government, and at Akmosa East local government. So, and hopefully we are hoping that we'll be able to extend that to other local government. We actually gave them freezer for those that are selling minerals and water. So we gave them a grinding machine and generators. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ṣe mọ̀ pé òyìnbó á sọ pé is a man's word, and lóòótọ́ is a man's word. but àwọn obìnrin tí a jẹ́ tá à ń lead àwọn obìnrin àwa náà àní jẹ́ kó rẹ̀ wá jù sára, so àní jẹ́ kó rẹ̀ wá jù. Ojú àwọn obìnrin wa yẹn ojú wọn ń rí, ṣùgbọ́n àwa ń sọ fún wọn pé táwa lè ṣe, táwa lè dé ibi táwa dé yìí pẹ̀lú akitiyan, pé àwọn náà gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe kíni, àwọn náà gbọ́dọ̀ give up. Ní meeting tí a ṣe, torí mo bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ pé ó ṣe pàtàkì náà kí àwọn obìnrin náà ká kàwé. So ẹni tó bá jẹ́, mo sọ fún wọn nígbà tá a máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìjọba yìí pé ẹni tó bá jẹ́ SUSAT ló ní, bó ṣe NCE bó ṣe OND kó lọ register gan-an ni, nítorí pé advantage ló tún jẹ́ fún obìnrin láti lè kọ, láti lè kà. So ìgbà míì gan SUSAT ń sìn kò kí n tó mọ́, so tó bá tún wà dín kankan mọ́, àwọn náà lè dúró ní àwùjọ láti lè sọ̀rọ̀, láti lè kà, láti lè kọ. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn yìí náà ṣe mọ̀ pé nínú ìbò obìnrin ló ń dìbò jù, even ní gbogbo àgbáyé. Kò sí vote even ní lórí Google kẹbáwò, obìnrin ṣọ́ a ní bí almost 60% of the votes, ká tó wá kọ àwọn ọ̀dọ́ àti àwọn ọkùnrin. So torí àwọn obìnrin náà ṣe mọ̀ pé gbogbo nǹkan tí ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sí yẹn, ẹni òfìfo kì í dúnyàn mọ̀yàn. Gbogbo bọ́yẹ́ pé ẹni tí ó bá dẹ̀ show interest pé àwọn fẹ́ díje, gbogbo bí a ṣe máa lè ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ náà nípa owó tí wọ́n á lè máa lò díẹ̀ láti lè fi máa bá ambition nǹkan fẹ́ ṣe lọ. Torí tí ó kàn wá bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wípé kò sẹ́ni tó máa fẹ́ ṣe any political post nísìn tó bá pe ìpàdé gan lásán, àwọn tó bá pè sí ìpàdé wọn á ẹ̀sẹ̀ pé bó bá ṣe mọ owó mọ́tò. So àdẹ́mọ̀ pé gbogbo àwọn obìnrin tá a ti ṣalábàápàdé, àwọn obìnrin náà ni mí ní pé àwọn ọkùnrin ò kí mójútó lé o, ṣùgbọ́n ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ ní experience tèmi lọ́sùn, 75% àwọn obìnrin ló jẹ́ pé àwọn náà ń tọ́mọ. Wọ́n lọ́kọ o, ṣe mọ̀ pé ọkùnrin míì wọ́n á ti fẹ́ bí ìyàwó 3 4, so àwa ti wá di pé kóníkálukú kó máa ṣe kíni, kó máa gbé ẹrù rẹ̀. So in tó máa ń jẹ́ kó weaken àwọn obìnrin yẹn nìyẹn, from my own study, because kò sí bó ṣe máa struggle even business kan ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ wọ́n á fẹ́ make sure pé ọmọ wọn lọ school, wọ́n jẹun. So ìbá díẹ̀ ló máa kù, ṣùgbọ́n tọkùnrin bá lọ́wọ́ lọ́wọ́ sìn ó lè dà sínú òṣèlú, ṣùgbọ́n obìnrin ò ní á rò pé ọmọ máa ṣe báyìí, ọmọ máa ṣe báyìí. So àwọn obìnrin náà a rí pé gẹ́gẹ́ bí nǹkan tí wọ́n bá mi sọ náà pé wọ́n ní ìrànlọ́wọ́ tó bá ti di pé kí àwọn obìnrin náà kàn participate nínú ọ̀rọ̀ òṣèlú yìí, wọ́n ní the empowerment.
The ministry, in spite of paucity of funds, has striven to carry out its core mandates, particularly in areas that affect the lives of the girl child. Programs like gender activism, sensitization on dangers of female genital mutilation, gender-based violence, and campaigns against out-of-school children have been more vigorously pursued by the ministry within 2 years. The direct result has pushed the ministry to the front burner in executing gender-based social advancement programs, which has received applauses from the international non-governmental organizations like the United Nations Funds for Population Agency, UNFPA, United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, and Action Aids. Mrs. Sekinat Temilade, the Special Advisor on Children Affairs in the Ministry, has this to say.
Our governor already placed a strong emphasis on the children welfare in the state. by supporting this ministry with all the programs that has to do with the children, girl child, being a boy child in this ministry. He has been supportive to this ministry, but anything pertaining to the children affairs. And I was in this ministry, let's say around 2003, and I've been able to do some things like sensitization on a girl child, out of school girl child, and out of school, the gender department is in this ministry. So I can still say something on boy child and a girl child. So we have been able to do some programs to elevate the suffering, because there are so more indigent kids out there. There are so many children in the street that they should be in the classroom, but we just see them in the street, maybe doing some all this stuff. We have been doing something great since we assumed this office. There is this program that we are targeting by the special grace of God and the help of this government. We want to do, this children tourism. That is like exchange of cultural, cultural exchange. We have done the sensitization on our three local senatorial districts, namely Ifedayo, especially the rural area. So the Ifedayo at the central senatorial district, Olaoluwa at West senatorial district, and at Akumosa is at East senatorial district. We have been there to do the sensitization and to support the indigent children with educational materials. Àti gbé àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ kan tó jẹ́ wípé fún àwọn ṣẹ̀mọ̀ pé irú ọ̀rọ̀ báyìí ó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ọmọ àti ìyá ọmọ. Àti láìpẹ́ a ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ parí ètò ìtanijí ọlọ́jọ́ 16 kan tá a ṣe fún pé ó tako ìlòkulò ọmọ obìnrin, ìlòkulò obìnrin àti ìdábẹ́ fún ọmọ obìnrin. Léè tó jẹ́ pé a ṣe tí a gbé káàkiri, a lọ sí àwọn ilé-ìwé alákọ̀ọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ àti ilé-ìwé girama. A dẹ̀ bá àwọn abilékọ tán wà ní ipò kán sì lè lóyún, tán sì lè bímọ. A ti ṣèpàdé pẹ̀lú àwọn baálé, a ṣe ìpàdé pẹ̀lú àwọn ìyálọ́jà, àtàwọn olórí ẹ̀sìn. A jẹ́ kí àwọn agbófinró náà wọ́n wà nínú àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ yẹn, tí a jẹ́ kán mọ̀ pé ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ni fún ẹnikẹ́ni láti máa dábẹ́ fún ọmọbìnrin, torí pé kò ní ìmọ́tótó òsì pẹ̀lú nǹkan, ó dẹ̀ lè ṣe ìjàmbá fún ọmọ ní ọjọ́ iwájú, tí ó ṣe ìjàmbá fún àlàáfíà ọmọ. Àti ṣe gbogbo yẹn, gbogbo ẹni tó yẹ kó gbọ́, gbogbo èmi ni olórí ìlú, olórí agbègbè, àwọn olórí ẹ̀sìn, agbófinró, ìyálọ́jà, babalọ́jà, baálẹ̀ láti pè tàdé jẹ́ kí wọ́n mọ̀. Even tẹ́ bá débi iléeṣẹ́ àwọn ìjọba elétò ìlera lábẹ́lé, ẹ máa rí tí wọ́n kọ síbẹ̀ gbàgàdàgbàgàdà. Àwọn náà dẹ̀ máa ń sọ fún wọn, kó máa sọ fún àwọn aboyún mọ̀mọ́ oṣù wọn pé tí wọ́n bá bímọ, tí bá ti ń jẹ́ ọmọbìnrin, kò sí àyè fún pé à ń dábẹ́.
The last 2 years have seen the Ministry of Women Affairs to Children and Social Welfare deploying a considerable portion of resources on keeping children off the street by resuscitating its social rehabilitation centers, encouraging children tourism and cultural exchange designed to keep young, vulnerable kids productively busy and giving them a sense of belonging, as well as encouraging meeting of minds among groups to discuss challenges militating against individual and group interest by spreading such social interactions among vulnerable women, particularly widows and the indigent, The ministry believes that problems of poverty, social stratification, and behavioral offenses will be frontally addressed. The ministry intends to sustain the tempo in the new year and explore other areas for the benefit of the people in the state. Ms. Abimbola Babatunde, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Women Affairs, Children and Social Welfare, speaks on how the core mandate of the ministry have impacted on the living condition of the people, particularly the women population, with various challenges of family life and gender-generated issues.
Like you said, we have a very broad mandate that has to do with all aspects of the society, so to say. It's not only children, it's not only women, the entire populace, not only women, not only girls, we have boys included, then the vulnerable in the society, then anything on social welfare is part of our mandate. So that is why we have the different departments. The core professional departments in the Ministry of Women Affairs, Children and Social Welfare, there are professional departments. We have the Child Department, the Social Welfare Department, the Women Department, and the Gender Department. So all those four departments, they have what they do separately. So like under the Child Department, there are so many things that we do in line with the Child Rights Act of 2003 that was domesticated in Osun State in 2005. So it has to do with how to guarantee the rights of children and how to prevent them against abuse, molestation, and exploitation in any manner. Then under that, the present government in Osun State, under the leadership of Governor Ademola Adeleke, has been trying tremendously to see that children in the state are protected. We have a center where we keep vulnerable children, orphans, and so on. Then we have in that home, we have another space for children in conflict with the law that are under 18. We call that place Correctional Center. So it is the duty of the government to provide education, feeding, clothing, and medication for them. And the government has been doing that and giving us funds as at when due to provide all these things. So apart from that, the government makes sure that they do everything possible to see that children are not left out in everything that is going on in the state. We have various programs that like the Children's Day that we've been doing since the governor assumed office. We have the end of the year party. Apart from the end of the year party, that has been the normal thing before. We've added another dimension to it, having a fun fair for vulnerable children. So we take children from orphanages and people living with HIV. There are so many kids living with HIV out there. So we bring them together during the festive period to give them a sense of belonging. Then apart from that, that is on the Child Department. The Gender Department also has so many things going on there. It is there that we deal with female genital mutilation, out of street children, anything on sexual abuse like rape. There is a law that is a violence against person prohibition law that was enacted in, that should be 2015, and was rightly domesticated in Osun State. So under that law, we have a family court that we take offenders to, and there is a process in the pipeline that the governor had signed that we should have the first mobile court to try offenders of gender-based violence. We have what we call the SGBV, sexual and gender-based violence. So under the gender department, and it is also under the gender department that we do so many programs, 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. It runs from November 20 something for 10 days. So the whole, we celebrated that in 2023, and we also did it in 2024. Different programs. We had matches, we enlightened people, we went to schools. So the match was led by the wife of the governor, the first lady, Chief Mrs. Titi Lola Adeleke. So apart from that, there are various days that we observe in those departments. Like in the women department, very soon we will have the World Cancer Day, then World AIDS Day, then International Day of Women, which comes up in March. So under the women department, we've been going around senatorial districts. We went to local governments to resuscitate the women development unit in the local government, because it is through them that we can get to the grassroots. So we were working hand in hand with former local government chairpersons before they went away, and when they come back in February, that is part of our mandate, so as to reach indigent women. We also deal with widows, and there are so many programs the state have been doing apart from coming from the Ministry of Women Affairs. We have women in our Greek, anytime they are giving out things for farmers, they recognize women. Then we have widows that we're giving things, then child, gender, women affairs, and social welfare. Like the one I said we did, that we went to 3 senatorial districts to give them, we gave them grinding machines, generator, and deep freezers. You know, they always say it is good to train people how to fish rather than giving them fish to feed. So there is a feedback mechanism that we do, because we always tell them, we put stickers on those things, and we told them that we'll be coming to check what they use it for. We have their list, and we have in the local government, we have local government officers. Then we also have zonal officers in the ministry that are in each zone. Ede, Ife, Ikirun zone. We have officers there, so they go around to see that all these things are well put in use. We have so many things to do together, like the correctional center that I mentioned, and there are even some of those kids that cannot go out to school. They can't go to school, so they stay permanently in the home. And we have a big hall that we use in training them. So with the raw materials and development, research development, I told them that they can be going to the home correctional center for them, for the inmates of those of that correctional center, to learn one trade or the other through them, because they told me that they have a workshop. Then I forgot to add, when I was talking about the correctional center initially, that, you know, the age limit that a child can be there is 18. After they are 18 years old and the court has not decided on their cases, there's a training place, a training school in Osun State. We call it Buster School. So they go there to learn one trade or the other. Government? Yes, government owned, but it is paid for. The state government of Osun or anybody that is sponsoring them, because after leaving a place, they are expected to go into the society, and if they have nothing doing, they will soon come back there. So they go there to learn trade. If they come back, if any of them perhaps comes back and they can't trace their family or they are not wanted, because we have issues like that, that families will just
abandon their kids here. We have 3 boys of the same parents there. Yes. And it's the government that is feeding them, taking them to school. The eldest is in last school. So if they come back like that, the raw materials, they can provide things that they can be using to work with. We try as much as possible to follow what they do up there, but definitely what the states are different, cultures are different from each other. It is what obtains in Osun State that we have to do in some cases. Like the issue of female genital mutilation, you know, what we do here may be different from what they do in the north. So it is the situation on ground in the state that makes us to divert from anything coming from the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs. But as much as possible, because they do write us for some things that we should do, they do this. And apart from what they ask us to do, like there was a time they said we should put up some names to pay JAMB fee for some students, just a few of them. So what do? We gave them those names for their own, and also did our own in Osun. So by sponsoring some students to do JAMB. We are supposed to have a SAC center. That is sexually abused and SAC center. That is at Ashubiaru. But sometimes ago, there was an issue on it that the Ministry of Health, maybe they don't have much staff to attend to people there. But when I look around and try to get in touch with the Ministry of Women Affairs in other states, I realize that it is a thing we can do on our own. So I've already written a memo to the Ministry of Health to leave the place for us. So we expect that when we start using that, getting those victims to put them back in the society, you know, they don't really come out, getting them. We already have a hotline that they'll be calling. Then after the process, we are a shelter that we can put them. That is what the SAC center is really for. If we have that, they'll be able to move on in the society. So that issue of not having anything to do will not be there. So that's what we are planning, is in the pipeline.
Women affairs, children, and social welfare are pivotal issues that determine equilibrium, justice, and well-being among people, irrespective of gender. The Adeleke administration restructures the state's Ministry of Women Affairs, Children, and Social Welfare along 2 broad lines of family advancement and children affairs to bring the social transformation of government to bear on the generality of indigents and residents of Osun, the state of the Living Spring. That's our show today. Living Spring Update returns to the mic and the tube next week. On behalf of the production crew, this is Tomilola Daniel signing off. Bye for now.
Living Spring Update is a production of the Office of the Spokesperson to the Governor, Governor's Office, Osogbo.
Shine.